Happy Friday, everybody. This is Frank Tico's Dropping Knowledge, coming at you once again with a little bit of a message, a little bit of knowledge. Always thanking first and foremost everyone that's been watching my videos, that's been hitting the like button, that's been commenting and engaging with me in the chat, well, in the comment section, and everybody that's subscribed. Thank you so much. Thank you for building my channel, for making it just a little bit bigger every single day. Every day there's one, maybe two people that subscribe. I appreciate that. That traction and that engagement is what motivates me to continue putting more work out, clipping more videos together, and jumping in front of the camera like I'm doing now to discuss my thoughts, to discuss my opinions. And as you already know, if you have a question, if you have a comment, or an opinion, or even if you want to challenge anything that I put out there, put it in the comment section. If it merits a response, I will respond. Um, Having said that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the video that I put out yesterday, Sticky Bandits on the Loose. So if you haven't watched it, I invite you to please watch it. I hope you enjoy it. There's a clip. I watched it real time, and when we watched it real time, it was impactful, but I think it became even more impactful when I had to sit down and clip to see which parts or what videos I wanted to include in yesterday's. And it's the interaction between Dubs and a young man named Lucas, right? Who was studying to be something within the medical field. I forget what it is, but you can watch it on my video. He says it very clearly. And he engages with Dubs. Dubs, the way he enters that interaction is crazy. And you can see Lucas, you know, even raise his hands like, whoa, right? Like, whoa, where's all of this energy coming from? Like, where is this coming from? I'm talking to you, I'm calm, and you get at me like so wild. And he diffused that situation. Um, Not only that, but later on in the conversation, after, Dubs once again parades his victim, talks about what he was locked up for, how many years he did, saying everybody that's, going into TikTok to warn people about who he is, that we all eat a cock and a dick. That's basically what he said. That we're all, we all eat cock and dick, whatever. That's what he said. Even after all of that ignorant, um, lashing out, that ignorant lashing out, Lucas was able to say to him, "But you've changed, right? You're different now." And Dove says, "Yes." And Lucas says, "I like to hear that. I love hearing that. That's what I wanted to hear." And you see the wisdom of this young man who was able to diffuse a situation with this older, hardened, alcoholic ex-con masterfully. And one of the things that stuck out to me of that interaction is Dub saying that he's only been out 10 years. So this man has been free 10 years. Okay, I go back to when Dubs was out, which was 2016, if we do the math. 2016. Um, by then, I had been out 16 years because I got out in 2000 and 2001, almost 2001. I already had 15 years of work experience. I had already gone through maybe two jobs, three jobs. Um, I had been part of the nascent call center industry, one of the pioneers in El Salvador. And, I worked in that field for approximately 12 years and I moved up the ranks. to become a team manager, to become an account supervisor, and I learned like the whole all of that business part of it. I was very active in the church. I was a youth pastor in the church, until my own convictions got me to where I decided I didn't want to be a part of a structured social church environment. I still believe in God, obviously, and I will continue to do so. Married with 2 kids by then. I had already gone through marriage trouble by then because it's hard, and we're going to get to that. But I'm still married. I'm still with my wife. I'm still with my kids. We're here at my house. I learned enough skills to where now I can negotiate my hourly rate to where I can live comfortably from home, do everything from home, teach English freelance online, spend time with my kids, and do this YouTube thing. It's been 26 years now since I've been out. So, after 2016, it's been another 10 years. So I've been out longer than Dubs has, but I've been out probably the same time that he was locked up. So if you see what weighs the most in his life, I'm not saying I justify his actions, but what I'm saying is that without the right support system, without the right changes, or without enough positive changes or internal changes, you can easily mess it all up, which is what I think he's doing now. I think he's messing it all up, right? Because at 52, I'm not saying everybody should aspire to be a grandfather. Some people don't want children. But at least at 52, you should already be thinking about living a calm life, staying away from your vices, and trying to be at least a positive role model to the people around you, or if you have a channel, to engage positively with other people, not jumping on TikTok and in the first few seconds, in the first couple of minutes, you're already telling an unknown stranger that you're a killer. Like, how does that happen? Like, why wasn't that left behind? And I know that he's made the decisions that he's made in his life, just like I made the decisions that I made in my life. But I think that the difference between the decisions I made is that I had to learn to trust. I realized that if I did not trust others, I was going to be stuck. And that even those people that loved me enough to be around me, to want to live their life next to me, were going to leave if I did not trust them. And that came very close to happening. So the man that you see standing before you is a man that's gone through his trials and errors. One thing that I learned is that before any plan that you put out there, and this is knowledge for you if you didn't already know, is that you have to plan to fail. You have to plan to fail. You have to plan on things not going the way you want, of things not going through the way you expect, the way you plan. What do you do next? What's the game plan? What's plan B? What's plan C? Or are there other options? Now, these are things that I had to learn the hard way at first because of my lack of trust, to where now I'm learning more easily because now I have the trust of watching other people, of getting advice, giving advice, interacting, and all of those perks that come with having people around you that love you. You know how hard that is in these times? To say, I have people in my life that love me, that respect me, especially people that come from where we come from. You know? But it takes time. to develop, to let our guard down. Not everybody's out to mess with you. The way that Dubs and Gunners block people from their comment sections for calling things out is a clear indication that they don't trust other people, that they are stuck inside of a defensive mode. And if you're always with your guard up, like how does this look, right? This is my guard. I'm not even, I'm not making it like I'm gonna come and box you, right? I'm just putting my guard up. But if you walk around through life with your guard up, people will not want to get close to you. You will push them away without even realizing that that's exactly what you're doing by not trusting people, by not believing that there are people out there that want what's best for you in mind. Now, does that make them perfect? Are these people perfect? No, they got their own problems and baggage just like all of us. I've had to learn to deal with all the baggage that I came with into a relationship, into a marriage, into fatherhood, into work. Like I had baggage that affected my thinking. I had baggage that affected the way I expressed myself. I remember people always looking at me and thinking that I was angry, but I had to learn to even modulate my facial expressions to not give the wrong message out there. There's a very famous song by Nina Simone, but I really like the Animals cover version of "Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood," and I always had that song in the back of my mind, like, please don't let me be misunderstood. Like, but people will still misunderstand no matter what, especially if they have an agenda or if they're already looking into poking holes in your image. They're still gonna, even if they understand you, they're gonna act like they're not, and you just have to know that that comes with the territory. But when you're confident with yourself, when you have a support system, when you have people that love you, you'll be okay. Like you can manage that. Now imagine if my whole world was YouTube comments, right? And they mattered to me. And when I see people attacking my character and calling me out of my name and all of these things, that's going to have a reaction in me. And it might be like a real world reaction where it depresses me, where it makes me feel bad, or it angers me, and then I lash out. That's what happens. That's what you see. If Dubs and Gunner didn't make their buttons so obvious, no one could push them. People are try to push buttons sometimes to see which one makes you, tick, which one moves this arm or which one moves this arm or which one moves your mouth to speak viciousness. People are going to continue trying to test your buttons. But if you have a support system of people that love you, that you can bounce ideas off of, or all of these things like, hey, you know what? I had this interaction, man, and this and this and this happened. You're going to hear different perspectives and you're going to end up developing what's best for you. But you can't bounce ideas off of yourself. I remember at one moment I wanted to get trust no one, and now I'm thinking about it, man, that would have been like the biggest mistake I would have made apart from getting my ex-girlfriend's name tatted on me, which I did. Yeah, I mean, we make mistakes, we make bad decisions, we do, and then we have to live with them, especially when they're on our skin, you know? But that's how we live through life. Like we cause ripples in life, and those ripples have an effect, positive or negative. And if you've ever been at a lake where you see the ripples head to the shore, you're going to see that the ripples then start going back, right? So everything that you ripple out, all those ripples, they're going to come back. They're going to come back and hit you too. And they're going to come back in a series of waves of ripples, right? So maybe right now you're feeling this ripple, but here comes the next one, and here comes the next one. And unless you're built on the rock, right? Unless you have that faith that moves mountains, unless your face was made into flintstone to stand up against all adversity, it's hard to deal with real life. It's hard. 10 years is a short time, especially if you've done over 20 years locked up since you were a child through your development stage without positive male role models, without a positive female role model, where all you learned was to be on the defensive, to be constantly cunning, constantly manipulating. And when you grow up like that and you don't have the time to work on yourself, to remove the baggage, you end up a Dubs. And Dubs is not even the worst case scenario because at least he's in his house. Imagine all of the crash outs that are out there with even more limitations than a Dubs, than a Gunners, that don't have a platform, that don't have a way to vent all the pent up frustration and things that are going on with their lives. You can turn to drugs, alcohol very easily. And if you're out there on the street and you feel alone, you can become very violent and lose it all again. So, when people try to judge me and try to criticize me and think that they know me or they got me figured out or think that I'm putting up a front when I come in front of here, you guys need to know I have a trajectory of having lived a life. Like in these last 26 years, the only thing I got was a ticket for turning into the street on the wrong, on the wrong light. And even that was expunged because they changed the law to where all the tickets before like 2003 got wiped clean off the slate, and mine went there too. So, I'm living my best life. I'm with my family. I can't come at you as though I'm a miserable person struggling. I can't. I got to come at you in this blessed state that I'm in because I am truly blessed. And I give thanks to God every day because I am. Because I also know what it is to not have a job. I also know what it is to not have enough money to pay the bills and deciding on whether to pay the light bill or to buy groceries. Like I've had those struggles. I can't sit here and act as though, my life is perfect. But right now, at this moment, at this stage in my life, I have found inner peace to where even in struggles, I'm able to maintain and trust and have faith in God, first and foremost, and also in the people that He allowed me to surround myself with to create that safety net, that circle of trust, that support system. Because no man is an island. No man or woman or child by themselves can brave the elements alone. You have to have some sort of help, whether it's through advice or through physical help. Like someone actually, hey man, here's $200, do what you gotta do. Make it, do something, invest in it, or prepare to go on a job hunting expedition, right? But do something with your life and progress. But that cannot be accomplished without trust and without preparing for failure, knowing that every endeavor always has a process. And sometimes that process, that learning curve, may go down first before it goes up. It is what it is. No, there are going to be things that you're going to dive off into the deep end because you're prepared, because you have the knowledge, because you have the backing, the experience, and all of these other things that will allow you to just take on a role or take on a responsibility or do something to the highest level from the beginning. And then there's going to be other things where the process might be you got to take the stairs and then kind of waddle into the water and get used to the condition of the water, get used to how thick it is, if there's, any pushback. and until you learn how to navigate through it. Not every process is the same. But what helps in that process is if you have a support system that will cheer you on and will lift you up whenever you stumble, you know, that will be there to give you words of encouragement whenever you need it. You know, when you can't see the silver lining because the storm is so great and it's raining down hard, right? And you think that that's your reality, and it is, but that's not everlasting, and there will come an opportunity to do things better and stronger than the last time. But you can't build that support system without trust. And the first person that you need to trust, number one, is you. You need to be able to trust that you can delegate and give things to people and not be upset if they have their shortcomings, because you have your shortcomings. And the way you want people to forgive you, you need to be able to forgive and understand that other people will make mistakes. That's why, when Jesus said in the prayer on the mount, he said, forgive us our sins the same way that we forgive other people's sin, is at that same measure, is because we are also making mistakes, right? And we want to be judged accordingly. And if our best intention was not to do what that wrong thing that we did, but we have enough, number one, strength to say, yeah, you know what, I did make that mistake, but I'm trying to do better. I will do better, and I want to learn. People will applaud that instead of you saying, hey man, what can I say? And you don't take the steps to improve. But you have to be patient, right? You have to be patient and trust the processes that you go through. You have to be able to start and finish projects, not just start. Sometimes we start and we fizzle out along the way. Now, I was a high school dropout. I thank God that I was given the opportunity to get my GED and get my diploma. No, but ever since then, and when I realized just how much I'm capable of, because of all the gifts God has given me, I started putting those things into action, and I started learning, and I started really trying to build up that within me, emotional intelligence included. So I just wanted to put it out there that 10 years is really a short time. Think about it. It was just 2020, 6 years ago, right? I mean, time flies. And unless you learn to let go, unless you learn to allow people into your life and give them the trust, I want to tell you guys right now, one of the biggest fallacies is when people say you have to earn my trust. I don't believe in that. I believe in trusting everyone in the beginning, and then eventually you will lose that trust. If it turns out that you're an imposter, or you're jealous, or you're envious, or you came in for all of the wrong reasons, then that's when you lose your trust. But I think that we should be strong enough, mature enough to give everyone the equal opportunity, and then see what happens, right? But that's just me. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this. I do hope that you understand the purpose of this video, that you took from it what I hope that you take from it. But we're going to continue doing this. We're going to continue being part of the resistance. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your views. Thank you all that have subscribed. I love you all. Peace.